County Commission for Wednesday, July 7th. To order.
Heavenly Father, you are fishermen of men. You bring us to you, all of us, Lord, all equal under your hand. Let us be a part of you today. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Susan. You I'd like to have John sworn in this morning before we get started. It's not.
It's not on the agenda. I don't know. Can we do that if it's not on the agenda?
We're swearing in the matter.
What are we talking about doing? What's the position?
Tonight, go to courthouse.
Do what?
What's not on the agenda?
That's fine.
I just, you all know my attitude on these things in general. If it's not there,
Okay.
we're gonna be conservative.
I don't think we are after we saw that that's right, but that's all right. I explained to me that I wasn't notified that we were canceling. Well, after the fact, you and Mark or Susan did that on here, so I didn't think we were abiding by the rules again.
Okay, let's move on.
So thank you for the update that we're abiding with this stuff.
Well,
Number one, public comment. Someone signed up here. Is there anyone on Zoom that wishes to speak publicly? Anyone on Zoom? Number two, consent agenda. It's a pleasure.
Motion approved and adopted the record, please.
Motion's been made to approve and adopt into record. Any discussion?
Amen.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number three, payroll change notices.
Payroll change notices, please.
What's the pleasure on payroll change notices?
Motion approved and adopted the record, please.
Motion to approve and adopt into the record. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Minutes or amended minutes of previous meeting. My only thing that I saw was on April 28th, I believe, it stated I was not here, so that probably should be signed by Commissioner Hinkle and Commissioner Trucross, since I was absent. That's been past practice. Okay.
So motion to approve.
My changes are nowhere. We're going to be sticklers to the minutes point out that when and why we went into executive session, it's not noted on any of them. It just says executive session. It doesn't cite the code. Consent agenda, I talked with John, that's been attached to the minutes.
I don't believe the consent agenda was ever attached to the minutes.
Shows all the bills and everything.
Traditionally,
Okay,
always, but we have.
but
been doing it.
the business that, not business, but the action that was taken on the consent agenda is noted on the minutes, correct? Is it? Okay.
For June 23rd, there are no times of the day.
It wasn't on the agenda either, so it's gonna probably fit on the minutes.
If you talk, somebody talk. It's been nuts. That's all I have, so I'll vote to table on until the minutes are corrected.
I think we need to figure out how to correct it.
Yeah, I agree. The exemptions under 6984 should be in the minutes in terms of why we went into an executive session.
But they weren't
We can-
stated.
Excuse me.
They were not stated at that time, that's my.
Okay, we'll have to go back and review the audio. I've got to get some audio from John on the old meetings anyway. But we will take a look at that. They should be reflected on the record. The consent agenda, I don't know how you ought to have done it historically. What's the practice been? Minutes are typically basically subject to a governing body's discretion in many respects under the Open Meetings Act. So our ethics commission says at the state level, so how you all have done it. So it's been working, don't change it.
June 23rd meeting, the commission, and I'll leave this up to the attorney to decide. I voted no, but my cohorts decided not to follow county purchasing guidelines, but Mr. Treehouse and I signed. I'd like for that to be looked into by our attorney as to why we were purchasing without following the county guidelines.
Does that relate to a specific agenda item? Just so,
Yes, sir.
we can get some more
Pickup
direction.
truck that was purchased.
I'll get the audio for June 23rd, 2021 as well.
I'll tell you that the issue is that we agreed on what we were allowed to purchase. March 2019, and how purchasing was supposed to happen. And we should not spend over $15,000 in the open market. That's not what this commission did.
So that was March of 2019.
It was passed. And it was not followed.
I'll have to make sure, I probably have a copy of the purchasing guidelines in my onboard docs, but if not, I can get a copy of it. I'm gonna
So,
I will speak up to that. I would like to, I mean, I might have to go back. But I think there are many other times that above that mass. Right now, board docs. So that's
Since
another,
this commission is inconvenient,
it doesn't matter. What commission,
I'm
it's.
on-
it's
I'm
been
talking
going
about
all
this.
along.
I'm
But I'm
talking
gonna
about
move
this
on with the
commission.
minutes. What's the motion on the minutes?
I said the table. Because they're not
You
correct.
said to table, because I didn't hear a motion.
Make a motion to table the minutes until they're corrected.
How are we correcting it? What are the corrections to be made?
Attorney's already told you some that need to be made.
Let's,
You
can
want
we
to
get a
work?
motion to table them to correct the executive session
Okay.
items and to look into that? And then we'll bring it back for
Make a
consideration.
motion to correct the minutes of executive sessions
Then
to reflect
And-
the code and the reason and the lack of information on why we went into the meetings and what we decided on when we came out of meetings.
Okay, so any further discussion on the motion that was just presented? All- What's the, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed?
No.
No.
I'd just like to comment, I don't understand why. we
Comments,
follow some
comment
rules and
section is
others.
over. Comment section is over.
I'll just
You
say
got
one.
comments at the end? Okay, so what is the motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve and adopt the record, please.
I'd like to continue discussion that you are illegally approving minutes that are not correct and do not reflect what happened. And I want on the record that you are not following state procedure and you're not following the correct way that you used to do it, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Hinkle, for pointing that out. I really appreciate that.
So
Okay.
as long as I'm on the record.
The only thing I would like to
I'm
add to that,
involved with
Mr. Ducross, is that we do change, look at the executive session.
Okay.
And see what that gets resolved.
Adding the county clerk, looking at that, correct?
That sound like a plan? What do you think?
We'll just move him up here. I mean, why don't you just come on up, sit, Trevor?
Well, this is a legal issue.
You just
related
might as
to
well
the
come on up
minutes.
here and sit, because these two don't do anything without your approval. So
We're gonna get
just
the
come on
minutes
up here
right,
and sit.
so we're gonna look at the executive sessions, we're gonna have to review the audio and get the minutes right, because the public's entitled to know why you did or did not go into executive session. Okay,
We'll get ready.
Any further discussion?
Yes, on Tuesday, June 15th, in executive session, it was commented that you advised the interview process will take place on June 23rd. You did not specify times when you did that. And Mr. Treecost gave everybody's name. It was part of that interview process, and that's not reflected in the minutes.
talking about the minutes when you came back into open
Yes,
session, right? Not
She
about
came
what
back into open
we're not gonna
session.
talk about what we're talking about.
It was to, she just says, it says here, Commissioner Thomas spoke on the 5 candidates. I have no idea what she spoke on. She advised that the interview process will take place on the 23rd and the 25th. And it was the work session scheduled for 9. And Mr. Treecost told everybody here who was on that 5, and it's not reflected. So this information does not reflect anything that happened when we came back. It's a very uninformed piece of paper. If you really want to know what goes on in the commission, and John, I know you're new at this, but we talked yesterday. These are things that I don't understand why it's not in the record. So that's my other issue with the record. So if we're going to clean up the specific code references, then let's clean them up correctly and state what's being said by people. I don't care what you put in there that I said.
I don't either.
Let's
I
make
had
sure when
nothing
we
to
read
do with
these
that. I
minutes-
know that's probably what you're insinuating, but John, please make sure that. the-
I'm not insinuating that at all, Susan. I just want the minutes to
Okay.
reflect what we do. So I still know
So-
what we're doing.
Motion has been made to approve the minutes with the changes that I suggested, I believe, for April 28th. We will look into, John will work with Trey to look into the executive session issue. That's it, correct?
I think so.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Aye. Any
No.
opposed? Please note the vote. Requisitions, purchase orders, and invoices, number 5. A, vendor requisition list of payments. What's the pleasure?
motion to adopt the record.
They've been signed.
Signed them yesterday.
Mr. Treecost to sign.
Excuse me. Okay. Motion's been made to approve and adopt into record. Any further discussion? Hearing none, All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 6, exoneration, corrective tickets, and joint property applications. There's only one.
Exonerations, that's all the exhibit A. There was a huge list. Same with corrective tickets. and
Yes, you have
joint-
exhibit A, B, C.
Correct.
If you want to take those separately, sorry, I didn't mean to.
Whatever you would like to do.
You want to take them separate or all together?
Doesn't matter. We take them all together. Motion to repeat the.
Motion's been made to approve number 6, exoneration corrective tickets, joint property applications. A, exonerations corrective tickets, exhibit B, and C is joint property applications.
Rocky needs some signatures.
Approve and fix signatures.
Yep.
Further discussion.
Yeah, man.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, number 7. Consideration of approval of a project fund requisition for Charles Point Development District 2015 A and B and Series 2008A.
We could do that all at once too.
And you have the requisition, the
Yeah,
amount of $7,945. Number 1, 2, that's the total amount of those. And you have B for $75 and C for $1,031.
motion to approve as stated. A through C.
Motion's been made to approve number 7, A through C. C, excuse me. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Number 8, consideration of approval of project fund requisitions for payments and costs associated with the General Services Administration Building, Series 2020 bonds. Harrison County Commission. Under requisition A, number 30, the Thrasher Group for $6,191. What's the pleasure?
Motion approved as read.
Motion to approve payment of the requisition. Is that- Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, number 9, review, discuss, consider delinquent or unprogressed estates. We got into hearing date, is that correct? Order has to be signed. What's the pleasure?
Motion establishes AP and signature to publish.
We have
August 11th.
August 11th.
Please.
There's some signatures. I believe there's an order that needs to be published with the list. So the motion has been made to affix signatures for a hearing for August 11th with the unprogressed and delinquent estates. Is that correct?
Motion as stated, yes.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Number 10, review, discuss Patriot Mining Company LLC applying to West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection for phase 2 and 3.
The current laws and regulations requires that the agencies are notified of this release that they're going to publish in the paper. So it's just to adopt into record and acknowledge it.
So motion is to, as stated, adopt in the record and acknowledge.
Correct.
Motion's been made to adopt number 10 into the record. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, motion carried. Number 11, review, discuss, consider payment for Green River.
This is an outstanding invoice for Green River. Their case is that we owe them $40,519.48.
Have you had a chance to review this?
There's a binder that Matthew provided us with all his documentation of why they are owed that money. This is for their idle time.
And the amount is,
The total is $40,519.48.
is there an invoice for 40,000?
Here's- I believe it's page 1 of your binder.
Oh, 21, I did. I'm sorry.
Correct. This change order was never agreed upon by all parties. Green River says that they are due the $40,519.48. Had the breakdown of the different idle time for the company. In turn, the previous administrator wanted to charge them for days that we were idle, and we're just trying to get this cleared up.
But yet this is signed by the previous president of the commission, is that true?
Correct. Ron signed it, but Green River did not agree to it.
But they're agreeing to it now.
They would like to get their full payment of the $40,519.
What was the payment that they were going to get if we signed for it?
Ron signed for the $21,854.48.
So $19,000 is for the idle time that they.
Correct.
We're not allowed on the property.
Correct.
Just make sure I understand.
The total of the two, the $21,519 and the $19,334 was both for idle time for Green River, which equals that $40,519.48.
Do we know why they were delayed? Am I asking too many questions? Okay, I just thought I'd.
I was just waiting for our architects to come in and defend what we're being asked to do. They have to, supposed to approve payment before we pay it. I'm just curious if we have that. And then make the payment. Hear what Green River has to say.
I didn't ask what Green River had to say, I just asked why it was delayed. You snickered. I was curious. In this binder, why they were delayed? Why they were delayed? We were delayed, or
Just a delay because, you know, out.
It's funny.
And then there was a situation with the DEP. Some material that was affected.
Is that true that Silling is the one that has to approve a payment of,
Within the change order process, typically Silling is the party which is initially charged with approving the change order within the bounds of contract, similar to the Rycon change order we had presented last week, change order number 2. This is from December 28th, 2020, so I can't say what happened, but it looks like Silling approved the 21,854.48. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did Silling not approve the idle time because it's not an allowed for charge within the change order process? Or do we have an answer to that question? I wasn't here. I'm just trying to gather.
Advise you should talk to Ceiling. I'm not going to speak on that.
Okay.
so we haven't even paid them the 21,854 that was approved because they wouldn't agree to partial payment. We wanna, is Silling, has anybody talked to Silling about this recently?
I've talked to Glenn. He gave me the background story of why the 21,000 was approved.
So they're still opposed to it. So,
That would be my understanding, Becky.
I don't want to do anything outside the scope of what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean, the question is why, right? I mean,
I
You
think
won't-
it's down to,
the commission has previously agreed to pay 21,519.68. I don't know why we don't release that money, subject to gathering some information on the 19,334.8.
I think that's what that is, right. David, do you know who put the walk one outside?
And so they might have been locked out for a couple of days. There's a lot more issues than just what you're implying with the asbestos. They did not perform their duties in a timely manner and used anything for excuse for a delay. From the first day they stepped on the site, they started complaining that they didn't have time to do the job that they signed up for, and immediately the day they arrived, they wanted a 30-day extension, and all they've ever done is ask for extensions. And since they were hired to come on site, so.
You might mind if I suggest, do you know who put the walk on?
County.
County. Okay. So-
I mean, what kind of responsible people would we been to allow people to run around on the site that potentially had an environmental issue? But until it was resolved, why wouldn't you lock the place up?
Robert Dayton. Robert, we have known that before we even let them on the site in the first place.
So I'm not going back down this road with you, Patsy. You know that if the studies were done, the city gave it all a clean bill of health. Go ask the city of Clarksburg. They're the ones that said there weren't any asbestos over there. Their report said there wasn't, and they gave her permission to tear the buildings down. The county didn't do that, the city of Clarksburg. The city of Clarksburg didn't maintain records on it. So I don't know why you keep hounding on what we did over here instead of going across the street and asking them why they gave her permit to tear something down when it wasn't clean.
Just simply asking them to walk on it. They probably still not be able to work.
It couldn't work until it was determined what the issue was, Patsy, so we shut the site down.
Oh, that's-
I'm inclined, I mean, I think they deserve that money, don't get me wrong. It's by the contract. And what we're- what to do.
Well, then I can say
Is
this,
that what I'm hearing?
The last commission agreed to pay the one amount, and it was voted on, and they refused to take payment, so.
did we issue a check to them and they refused to negotiate the check?
Trey, I don't know, we just agreed that's what we would pay.
Yeah, well, we've agreed, the commission has agreed and signed to make that 21,519.68. So I would write them a check for that amount and send it to them. If they don't negotiate it, that's on them. It's not. Signing the check does not mean satisfaction necessarily. But if they're owed that money and we've agreed to pay it, why don't we pay them that, subject to looking at the 19,334.80? I mean, if they're owed the money, let's write the check and get it to them. And we've agreed to pay it in December of 2020.
No argument.
No argument here either. The question I have, Trace, and how does Green River go about getting what they consider downtime, due to their circumstances out of their control?
We need to talk to Silling, they're the architect, and determine why they feel the 19,334.80 should not be paid. Then get with Green River and look at it in the context of the contract language and evaluate what's fair.
Let's do it.
Because we don't have, I mean, I'm shooting in the dark here. This is from December 2020.
And we'll also look at why they owe us money. We're doing it.
If there's an offset issue, we can certainly look at an offset issue, but you all agreed to pay them, and there's a signed change order here from December of 2020.
So I have to ask Green River why they didn't want.
Well, I think that's what we'll take care of in the future. We'll go ahead and write the check and go from there, and then work with Silling and Green River to come to a resolution.
So can the motion be to pay what is owed as of now, as stated by the county attorney, and to schedule a date for commission and the two other entities to decide exactly what happened across the street that prevented them from working, and Silling believes that that is not on them.
I'll make it a little bit more specific. Can we get a motion to pay Green River 21,519.68, consistent with the December 2020 change order that's previously been approved?
That amount is 21,854.
There's two different numbers there.
There are two different numbers there.
So
Why are the numbers different?
their total, they're charging 21,519.68 for one period of idle time, and then the 19,334.80 for another set. Their total comes to the 40,519.48. We in turn then charge them 19,000 for our idle time. So the balance between the two is where we come up with the 21,854.48, and which was signed off on 12/30.
That's what was approved by Silling.
That was approved by Silling and Commission.
Let me rephrase my poorly worded motion. Let's get a motion to pay Green River the 21,854.48 previously agreed to in December of 2020. And also move to gather further information on what Green River contends is remains owing, as well as any offset issues which the county may have for Green River's contracts.
As stated, motion to approve.
Which should be on the audio.
Just make sure it's in the abstract.
Yes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Review, discuss, consider Richard Moore property in Meadowbrook Road.
That was a tabled item. This is the gentleman that is in the assisted living facility nursing home who would like to donate the property. When we had it on the agenda before, we wanted to make sure that the deed and everything else was clear. Charlotte and the planning department did their research with the checklist, and it's clear of liens and everything else.
And a motion move forward with getting bids out for demolition.
How far back did you check the links? Or did you do it from?
I think we checked 60.
Okay.
The asbestos test isn't back yet. We did do an asbestos test.
Motion's tabled. Yes, that's.
We'll wait for asbestos reports now. Motion move forward, get the bid out to tear down the property.
That's it.
Thank you.
Tell me when we don't do it. Just give me an example. Make a statement, give me an example.
Motion move forward the progress of cleaning up this.
Motion's been made to move forward with this property, but we still, okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed?
No. I'll raise a concept for you all.
Right, just.
Just for all of it, for all of it.
Just let them keep the money if the asbestos is there. I know at the last building cost in Bridgeport to get tore down with asbestos, we paid.
This isn't necessarily specific to asbestos, it's just. One thing Charlotte and I keep discussing is, should we try to go to neighbors and get them to try to facilitate a private party transaction, so we don't continue to hold property as the county, which doesn't really fit into a public purpose. For example, this property sits off Meadowbrook Road right before you go across the bridge to hit 19. And there's a property owner who owns 5 or 6, 7 adjacent parcels. So the motion's been made, but maybe we get the test back and we see if we can facilitate a private party transaction with this one based on the way it sits, because there's one owner out there who basically owns the landscaping shop and all the parcels. He's gradually accumulated every parcel out there.
So you may be interested in this property, do you know?
And it also
What's
has a
that?
tax base.
And I'd like to say something, and that individual will take care of the property. Every piece of property he has there.
Yes. So you wanna-
Well,
And there.
before I put, ask for bids, I need to wait for the asbestos test to come back, because they don't know what they're bidding on.
Matt,
Motion then, so then.
It's already been.
it's been money.
When the bids come back, though, it's something we can reconsider.
Right.
We can reconsider. But we need to look at the properties based upon their unique characteristics, and this is just one of those chances. We were looking at the tax map this morning, talking about it.
Maybe that's something you want to add to your checklist, to ask the property, the surrounding property. I mean, maybe that's on your list, I don't know.
Well, we normally do that. If somebody wants it, then we try to facilitate the two together, and then one will take it, the other one will give it up. This one's a little bit unique, because he is in assisted living. The only way he can give up this property is to a government entity. So it looks like he's
Right.
not gaining any money.
Or so they can. But we've been talking about that because the property really, it's a negative value property. It's just a liability at this point.
So I mean, if we could kind of be the go-between, getting it to the other guy, then that would be great.
But once we take them, we have to auction them for the question value. We have to take a look at that. It's usually the neighbor who buys it anyway. So to the extent we can help these private parties transact, that's a good thing, because again, we're just cutting a loop out of it. The neighbors are usually the bidders whenever we auction our properties off.
Okay, I think that's. So, Review, discuss, consider list of county employees that pay to park in the garage under the courthouse.
Do you have it before, Brian? I also sent each one of the commissioners the list of the employees that paid for. This was requested by Commissioner Hinkle. Him and I discussed the list, but last week he made the comment it wasn't on the agenda, so that's what I wanted to make sure was on the agenda for you to have a discussion about.
It doesn't matter what I say, so wherever they are. If I say give it to them free, they won't do it. If I say make everybody pay, they say they do it, so I don't care. But personally, you can remove me from deduction off my paycheck, I'll take care of that.
So is this just for information?
I guess because people haven't been paying taxes and we were supposed to pay, but people don't. Some people just started paying recently because they didn't want to get in trouble. Parking. We don't charge everybody evenly down there. Not all elected officials get charged or pay, so why we even mess with it? So if you want to figure it out, fine, but I'm through paying if the other elected officials aren't going to pay. So I'm not going to be involved when somebody wants to pay just so to make sure they don't get in trouble. So I'm done paying.
I've never heard the conversation except in your seat. I'm not sure why we're talking about it.
Because we talked about it once before, Patsy, a year ago. When Ron was commissioner, you two didn't want to make everybody pay. Especially you and me, so neither you or him paid. So
I
it's in
didn't
the
have-
minutes.
I'll be honest with you. When I
Patsy, it's in the minutes. You two voted not to pay the park.
say what I recollect from that, all I recollect is no commissioner in the city of County has ever paid for parking down there. You mentioned that probably I should. I took your advice graciously and I started paying and paid back. And when I put up to then, I had never thought about paying the parking lot. I'll be honest with you. I don't even care if I park in there, to tell you the truth. But before you, it was never brought up that any county commissioner would ever pay the parking lot. I mean, all these black and white pictures on this wall, never had an issue with parking in the garage. You did, and I respectfully said, okay, I'll pay.
We didn't enforce it.
Didn't force it, I started paying.
Not all elected officials have to pay.
Right, I'm just worried about me. I'm not worried about the other elected officials. There's other
We're
elected
violating
officials in
the
your city
code by
that-
allowing them to park for free.
Well, then you don't have to pay anymore either. It's good. I mean, it's simply, I don't think somebody can break us at $7.50 every 2 weeks that you're not gonna pay anymore. I think we'll be okay. And I do appreciate you bringing it up. If you want to put it on there again later for work session, I'm happy to do so.
I'm done with it.
All right. Motion move forward.
Motion to just move forward. We're gonna, this is just for informational purposes.
Yeah, motion move forward, 14.
Discussion. Not really any action to be taken.
I guess it'll be up to our attorney to determine who's breaking the law down to by law thing.
I would think the law, I think it's in there. Number 14,
I think it's in the code how much we matters. You're more than happy to step that fast. I think that you have stated it to other people that work in the school. So you know it's code. It's not that.
but it's both, but I'm not gonna argue. Number 14, review, discuss, consider lifting hiring freeze.
Motion to remove the hiring freeze effective. This is today, Madam President.
Motion's been made to lift the hiring freeze by the end of, at the end of July the 7th, 2021. No discussion.
Yes, ma'am. Can I ask what's changed financially for the county that we can no longer have hiring freeze? did the hiring freeze because of financial reasons. I'm just curious who's gonna tell me why we don't have a financial issue.
Did you see the report?
That's, yeah, I'm asking, let's just call discussion. Tell me why we're lifting it. That's all. I don't want to hear about that I see a report. Just tell me why you're doing it.
Simply tell me, it's July, it's a new budget. We're ready to start with the last budget. And then we need it forward to September.
So how much did we carry over from the last year?
We did, we were about $120,000 short from the previous year.
So that's why we can take the hiring freeze off because we carried over a short.
Well, we have a new budget. And we're everything we did last year.
So that's by hiring more people.
No position, people
Why?
service, one, probably service our citizens that we want to. Then we're in a service industry, three of us. But here's quality of life for the citizens of Harrison County. And that's what we intend to continue to do, right?
Our job is to quality of life.
Yeah, that's what we do. We serve people.
Okay. That's an interesting concept for us.
That's one concept. It's all like.
That's a concept.
To serve. So Rocky does, he serves. So Sheriff does, he serves.
So Rocky,
He serves our
sitting here,
citizens.
he's serving for that purpose.
He absolutely serves.
For
our
the quality
citizens
of life.
every day he comes to work.
Remember that,
Matter
right?
of fact, every person that's employed here is getting paid that.
When I come talk to you, it's gonna be about my quality of life. But quality of life is you're charging me too much for.
Seconded. Motion to lift the high priest, please.
Well, understand we could provide these quality of life services since it's been in effect. I don't know why we have to change it now. If somebody we need to hire.
Any further discussion?
There's never any discussion, Susan. What's your input on it? Why do you
I-
think we should undo it?
I didn't say we should undo it. Maybe it shouldn't have been put in. It was.
Put it in.
I know I did, Dave, but I'm just asking.
I'm just
You don't
asking
remember
to
what
have
you
a
did half the time.
conversation about why we're undoing.
I'm done discussing.
We're always done discussing. We never discuss anything up here.
No, because you want to criticize what we
I'm
do.
not criticizing. I just want to know why we're doing it.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Uh,
Aye. Opposed? Are you putting a piece on top of my head?
No, just let everybody know we got 2 votes. With no discussion.
Do you have anything to report? Administrator? Interim administrator?
Risk programs will be here next week to speak about our insurance valuation report that we asked them to come. So it'll be at next meeting. At positive communication with Judge Matish, working together, trying to get that 6th floor room utilized. Tomorrow we'll have the work session on the vital services levy. Working on the end of year. We've had some positive feedback from the community on some various properties around the county that are being cleaned up. So very appreciative. And next week, we'll also have an update from Parks and Rec for all the different parks. And that's a lot.
Mr. Hinkle?
You probably don't let me go last, Susan. 'Cause I
No,
got
I'm
a
gonna
lot.
let you go first. I figured
Okay.
you had a lot.
Okay, first off, what's this about room on the 6th floor for the judges? I haven't been told anything about that. It's just on the 6th floor.
The probation. It's okay.
Okay, what's being said about it?
Just trying to get it utilized. One, the door lock is not working properly. So IT has now made the swipe work on the door.
Okay, has this commission voted to release that room until he releases the court case against us? We done that?
I didn't know there was an ultimatum.
Well, there's a court case pending against us. This commission. I'm just curious why we were letting him have a room without sitting down and discussing him dropping his case against this county commission. It seems a little odd that we would still let him continue with a court case against us.
Was that not-
Has
Do we
not
have
been
an
dropped.
attorney concerning that?
You guys fired
I believe we have an attorney who's a former judge over.
And you've had conversations.
Mr. Treecost said he wouldn't pay me more money. so we don't have a lawyer.
Water. And
No, I'm talking.
Okay.
So I don't even know why it's a topic until this judge releases this. Two, to our attorney, I think you need to look at Nicholas County 13-P 47 and Supreme Court number 14-2018.
They're in my file. I'll look
And
at
you
it,
know what they're about.
but I'll look at them again.
And we're walking down that path to being violation that the Supreme Court's already upheld. What this commission's doing is illegal. And you can have your own opinion, but I've read both of them, and I'd say it's going to be an interesting fight. And if anybody wants to know what it's about the interim person writing their own specifications for the job and advertising. And it has already been ruled by the Supreme Court, which can't do that. And this commission never approved what she put out. And this commission never approved where it was advertised. So. Again, Supreme Court ruling 14-0218. It's already ruled on what this commission failed to do. Commission had a purchasing policy procedure that was signed in March 6th of 19. And any project less than 25,000 requires action for whatever reason or special meeting. We didn't do any of that. We went out and bought a pickup truck. Allowed maintenance just to go out wherever he felt he got a good price and act on behalf of the commission, which is a violation of our purchasing policy procedures. Anything over 15,000 should be put out into the open market, and it wasn't. I guess we need to amend the purchasing for the county because we don't buy it. As far as just agreeing to take a house that had asbestos potential in it, it's probably one of the more interesting things I think I've ever heard these two agree to. We'll take on the liability if it's there. I don't understand what's so important about this piece of property that we would take that liability on for the citizens of Harrison County. Use paper, whatever that costs, seems kind of foolish. And finally, there still seems to be an issue. We had a meeting we voted on for last Friday. Our attorney, Susan Thomas, on themselves to cancel the meeting. In the past, the commission's always made those decisions. I don't understand why the attorney and Ms. Thompson thinks that they can make those decisions without talking to the commission. I don't appreciate it. We voted to be here. We're going to have that kind of a commission where just you two make the decisions. Then I guess we're going to have to figure out, you two don't want to agree to 5 commissioners. I'm going to ask the public to figure out how to get 5 commissioners up here to run this place properly. You can say whatever you want about what's happened in the past. I really don't care about the past, what we did. I'm only looking at the present. So drag it up all you want. And the same with you, Mr. Treeboss.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, you got something else?
I think I'll hold that.
Oh, why? Go ahead, let it all out.
I'll hold that to talk to them in person.
Mr. Treeboss?
No, just excited about, we have a Pierpont expansion this morning, and everybody's invited, of course. It's exciting.
Nothing said, nothing.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
Aye. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.